Long before Lennon actually learned to twist and shove, music was the force in his life. As Lennon put it in 1974, I was transfixed. The real Pied Piper was rock and roll. When I first heard it, I dropped everything else.
My personal tastes are very strange. I mean, I like rock and roll, man. I don't like much else. That's the music that inspired me to play music, you know. There's nothing conceptually better than rock and roll.
Lucky for Lennon that his mother encouraged his musical interest. John Winston Lennon, named after the late Prime Minister, was born to Julia and Freddie Lennon at Liverpool's Maternity Hospital, October 9th, 1940. The Germans were launching air attacks on the port of Lancaster, England, and newborn John's father, Freddie, true to his seafaring nature, was off somewhere on the Atlantic. John did without a father figure during those early years. Except for a brief childhood visit, he wouldn't meet up again with the elder Lennon until their '64 reunion. Instead, John was raised by his maternal aunt, Mimi Stanley, where Mother Julia was free-spirited, a creative influence. Aunt Mimi believed in the disciplined approach. Julia's carefree nature may not have been the so-called proper influence for growing John, but in Aunt Mimi's eyes, Julia only encouraged her son's early rebellion and outspoken behavior. Their mother-son relationship was a rocky one in John's preteen days, but as Lennon matured and his early rock excitement grew, so did his attachment to Julia. Aunt Mimi, of course, disapproved of the whole rocking nonsense, but it was the music-oriented Julia who brought the Beatle to be his first guitar. As a young girl, Julia had been considered quite a natural singer. She learned to sing along on the banjo, and years later, using those same simple banjo chords, gave John his first music lessons. Mimi just shook her head and warned John, "A guitar's all right, but you'll never earn your living by it." It was music that made his school days bearable. John later called his whole academic career a case of "I couldn't care less." From his first vocalizing in the church choir at St. Peter's, Woolton in Liverpool, to his Quarrymen high school years where John got together with his first working band, the Quarrymen. They specialized in skiffle music that started off as England's counterattack to American-born rock. George Harrison remarks,
Lonnie Donegan, he had an offshoot of this jazz band with just a upright bass player, and this woman who played a washboard, no cymbals, and then he played guitar. But this really caught on so big in England, and they called it skiffle, because all the kids could just buy a guitar for a few dollars, make a bass out of a tea chest and a broom pole, and buy a washboard for a couple of shillings. So that really caught on.
Scotland-born Lonnie Donegan brought skiffle to the United States with his version of Leadbelly's Rock Island Line, riding it into 50th position as one of the most popular American records of 1956.